All right. I think we are live. Just give it a couple more seconds. Okay, I think we are live.
We are alive and live on the YouTuber.
Greetings,
Nice.
everybody. Oh, maybe I should turn this off.
It's like ground control to Major Tom. Got to get all the little dials and buttons all just right. I love that I see you as a pilot for our starship, and you definitely hold down the whole tech part, which is not everybody's gift.
Well, it hasn't been mine either, so it's been a huge learning curve for me, but I think we are good to go. All right, everybody, greetings and welcome to my YouTube channel, All That Is. I'm so glad to be here with you all, and welcome to my beautiful Shamankas on this live stream on YouTube. It has been a few weeks, and we have each gone through our own initiations to be coming to you live finally. But we'll talk about that as we beam in from British Columbia, and our beloved Shekinah Ma is in Los Angeles, so holding down the fort in the beloved United States of America. So happy 4th of July to all of you folks coming in from the US. And yeah, welcome to the show. Have a seat, grab a drink. And as we tune in, welcome to new friends, welcome to old friends. Put a like on this video if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate the support on the channel as we move forward. But just as before we go ahead, I just wanted to welcome Shekinah Grace and Shekinah Ma to the show. How are you guys doing today?
Well, the dogs are all barking. The people are all preparing for parties here in California. There's just been nonstop activities. People are all like bustling in. I'm actually in Laguna Beach, not LA, but right by LA, but just down the coast a bit. But there's like something about Laguna Beach is like a magical vortex portal place. And like I know all the lifeguards because I used to lifeguard, and they were all saying that like you go down, to south, like towards San Diego or north towards LA, and nothing's as packed as this place because the beaches here are so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So the traffic right now, nobody that's a local is going anywhere in their car. Because everybody's coming here and there's no chance of moving.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I suppose you'll have
yeah,
fireworks later on tonight as well, too, right? And that's the
8:30
draw.
tonight
Yeah.
they do the fireworks. But people come here for the beach, and today is super hot already. So, yeah, it's a big
Awesome.
vibe out here. There's a
Yeah.
big energy right now.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a reason for you being there, and we'll get into that. Shekinah Grace, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. My internet's very spotty today, so if I cut in and out or lose you, then just carry on.
Okay, we'll let you know.
But I feel really good. For me, I'm tuning into more of the astrological co-creation. So I'm really feeling the frequencies and aligning with the frequencies of Venus, the awakening energy of Uranus coming together in that conjunction today on July 4th.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm feeling it more in my soma, in my body, since I'm not in a populated area. I'm feeling what's taking place in the collective and in the field and in the grids, and tuning in more on like the codex of
Okay.
the alignment. So,
Okay. Hold
yep,
that thought. Let's
that's
go
where
into
I'm
it in
at.
more detail after a bit. So,
Yep.
Shekinah Ma will lead us into prayer as we go into sacred space. I'm just going to light the candle. And Shekinah Ma, whenever you're ready,
So we light
just
that
let the
beautiful
candle.
candle and we light our own inner lights. And so, as we tune into this beautiful, auspicious day in the restoration of the Republic, in Independence Day, in this celebration of freedom, liberty, and justice for all, That is the seeds that we are sowing into this space, into this medicine wheel. And also I'm seeing the medicine wheel activating as a medicine shield. So there's that way you can work with the medicine wheel as well as creating a medicine shield. So I'm just putting a giant medicine wheel and shield all over Turtle Island. I do feel like what happens here in the United States is very connected to what happens in Canada. And I do live in Canada and am a person of both continents. Well, one continent, both countries. So I'm just going to see this turtle. We've been working in this channel a lot with Turtle Island. So I'm just seeing right now the medicine wheel is the turtle. And I'm seeing that in the east, we have that right side of the turtle. And I'm connecting into the energies of that right part of the turtle as a medicine wheel, as a medicine shield. And the turtle totem is truth. So we're invoking truth in this day. So starting in the east, we invoke the place of the rising sun and all the new dawn of this golden age that is rising into our here and our now. And we call into the south, into the place where it's the feet of the turtle and the tail of the turtle. And we come into this energy of, again, this peaking sun. And I'm tuned into this golden dome energy of the Nikola Tesla's powerful free energy. I'm getting actually that this is not a defense system. It is more aligned to a free energy technology. So again, we're tuning into that south vibration and the peaking sun and the golden dome vibration of free energy getting off of the beast system. Tuning now into the west, into the feminine, into the left side of that turtle. We are now coming into the place where the sun begins to set into the water. And here we have the merfolk, and we have the Atlantean codes, and we have the Lemurian codes coming in. And again, the restoration of the original blueprints, and also the place of water. And as we shamankas know, as cantinas, that water element is where it is at. So water codes coming in with the gospel of Yeshua and Magdalene in the book of love. And we are transmitting through the waters that book of love coming online for us as we are now in the time returns. So we come now into the north, into the place of the head of the turtle. And we come into the place where we connect into that throne of God vibration, which is in the north. And this is the place of night. And it is also the element of earth. And so we see our Pachamama today is protected. She is in her awakening, in her rebirth, and she is feeling the freedom codes as she too is liberated in this here and now. And so coming into the center now where all these directions meet as one into the heart of that turtle and to our own very own beautiful hearts and the corazon into the activation of the love frequency. And we ignite this grid of love with the earth, the air, the water, and the fire. And the turtle power is restored and truth is restored and we are liberated on this day. Aho. So it is.
Oh, thank you. Speaking of turtle,
Yeah.
I was guided to put that up on the wall today, so it's perfect.
Perfect. Well, you never even know with me what's going to come out of my mouth because I don't really ever know. So that was a spontaneous turtle come walking right into our medicine today.
Nice. I love it that we're all in alignment.
Seems to be that way with us.
Yeah,
Free.
I know. It's so
Yeah.
powerful, isn't it? So yeah, just as a prelude to our show, I just wanted to just take us on a little bit of a journey of what we've three been going through and leading up to the culmination of our recent gridwork mission. So just for the audience to give them a flavor of what our gridwork missions are and how powerful they are and how the three of us have come together. And now four, we have a beautiful lady anchoring this energy in Gibraltar as well. So So I just wanted to, yeah, just give everybody a prelude to, to the initiations, I call them, as the three of us have gone through in Shekinah Ma. We're called to LA to anchor that energy with your mom. Shekinah Grace was called off on family work as well to Saskatchewan. I was challenged in a different way, and as you said rightly, I'm working with technology, and so I went into this very muddy water of dealing with technology, going to India and, like dealing with all of that crap that's anchored within that tech industry, right? And so dealing with all of that inversion, all of that mixing of cultures as it is, with between the US, between, anchoring that energy of customer service within India. And it was just very convoluted, And so I went through two iterations of changing service providers for my website. And that's just no small feat. And in between all of this, I thought I had lost all of my data, which in a sense, I did because I wasn't able to seamlessly transfer it over to the new website. But I've been just taking bits and pieces now from the old website and just doing it. It's quite a laborious job, but I'm, accomplishing it. But I have to say, I do have a new website, so I'm very pleased about that. So yes, please do visit when you get a chance. I'll post the link in the chat as well. So, as a prelude to the show, I just wanted to sort of give you folks an idea of the difficulties we faced in getting to this point. Well, I should say July 1st, because that seemed to clear all of that chakra energy. We were sort of stuck in that solar plexus energy, right? We went through the root, we went through the sacral, and we were like stuck. 3 weeks, we couldn't get past that. And it all culminated in our grid work mission. And we saw that clearing, we saw that happening. And it was like circling the three of us in all our different vibrations and saying, okay, this is what needs to be healed. This is what needs to be healed. And as we led up to that mission, as we titled it, Rescue the Children, it was so poignant because, we were needing to deal with that very dark and dense energy, which was that Divine Mother energy working through us, because we had already anchored that Divine Mother energy into our beings as a prelude to those previous missions, right? And so for our mission on July 1st, and perhaps I could share the map if I can, just to give everybody an idea of the areas that we worked on, which is quite extensive, I should say. Let me know if you guys can see the map.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the heart that you see on the left of your screen is where we landed, which was Kauai. And from Hawaii, we moved, which is like the new Earth portal. And so, as we were accompanied by legions of angels, ascended masters, interdimensional guides, and all those that came forward to support us in our mission, we moved forward as we anchored that 12th dimensional diamond light code energy into the field to deal with all of these inversions, all of the persecution wounds, all of the torture, the infiltration, the child sex trafficking, all of those things that were inflicted upon the children. And so we moved into the Nelson area. Are you seeing my map or are you seeing a text?
I see your map and it has all the little spots.
But in between that, did you see a text file as well, or just the map? Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, we moved then into Canada, into the Nelson area. And so we dealt with all of those inversions, shall we say, within Nelson, within Calgary, Alberta, and then we moved to Toronto, Montreal. So we dealt with a lot of the stuff in Canada as they showed up. And then we worked on Los Angeles, we worked in Hollywood, Disney World, the inversion of Epstein Island. So we moved into the Virgin Islands, Epstein Islands. That's like the little St. James Island. But I think what really came through was Texas. We were called to use the yellow rose in this area, which to me was that solar plexus energy. And I think that's where we really exploded into that solar plexus energy, releasing, that ego energy, And then we encountered the turtles and the crocodiles, right?
Yeah.
In Florida. And again, there was that energy of releasing all of that stuck energy. And like the turtle energy, the crocodile was needing to be, turned right side up, if you will. And we've been
Mm.
seeing these videos as well, these memes of the crocodile army in Florida.
Guess it's really not crocodile, it's alligator.
Alligator, yeah,
They are
sorry.
calling it alligator Alcatraz. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, those two always cross-pollinate my brain. So I think we were meaning to say alligator.
alligator. But there is that connection as well, right, to the Egyptian gods, like you truly
Yeah,
brought that in as well during our transmission, right?
right.
Um, and so all of this was coming online as we moved through the field, and we healed all of this within North America. And then we moved to London, to Ireland, to the Vatican, and one of our sisters anchored there in Gibraltar in the green. And so we
Mm.
concentrated on this area where we drew that triangle between Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican. And so this was quite powerful as we released those veils over the Vatican and all of that inversion of not only the registration of souls, but also all of the veiling in terms of the beheading of beings, like the Medusa energy. Um, and we also brought in the seven crystals, the crystalline skulls, and we
The
cleared,
13 crystal skulls.
sorry, the 13 crystal skulls. Yes, we cleared all of that energy. What else did we do? Oh, we talked about the bells, the clearing of the bells, vibration and the frequency of the bells, the cathedrals. And then Shekinah Ma brought in a very powerful meditation that brought in those 13 energies as well, the singing bowls as it related to our own 13 vertebrae, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that Shekinah grace and how that manifested within that meditation?
Yeah, it was related to the 33 codes in the vertebra and um, and the crystal skull and the staff of the spine as the staff of like Gandalf the White. A lot of pure, piercing white light coming into the grids and into our bodies to pierce through the darkness, lifting the veils, and the truth that it is our voice, our sound, our word of God that comes in and streams in once we unplug from the false matrix and plug back into our eternal Mother God connection and Father God connection, Source connection, where we actually can only speak the wisdom of Sophia, and that it's our voice and sound that's like the mallet or the striker of our skeletal system, in particular our spine, our sternum, our ribs, our pelvis, that carries our own song, body of song, soul song, harmonic frequency as a signature frequency that plays a role as like a tuning fork, as Shekinah Ma often mentions, that helps to turn on, activate, and create greater symphonies. We've talked about the organs as being like the organs in the church. Like everything is sound and vibration, and people are feeling that. Like that's the era of transparency that we're in. We no longer, if we're only processing through intellect, we will fall way behind and potentially suffer like mental psychoses, problems,
Mm.
um, fried nervous systems, etc. So the embodiment is so important. And I guess that's what that was speaking to, and how important our voice is to speaking the truth or even creating sound, singing our songs is to activating the crystalline structure and changing our activating our crystalline DNA. So shifting from that carbon base to the more of the angelic templating that is available to us. And also so much about how our sound actually activates the bone marrow, which helps to produce red blood cells and white blood cells, which continue to transfigure the body of water of light. So there's all these connections coming in. Is kind of like I said, I'm feeling the collective energies, the stories that are playing out really in my body, and I make the physiological connections. But we are like that staff of truth that says, "You shall not pass," or "Get behind me, Satan." Like it's like
Yeah.
we are that pillar of light. We are the springs that burst forth from the earth. It's like it's so beautiful, and it connects and ties right into the waters and that book of love that got brought in through Shekinah Ma. And so that was a big piece for me on our July 1st mission, and it continues to
Yeah.
open up for today. Yeah.
Well, and I think we brought that into, right? That staff, if you will, that Gandalf staff, anchoring that 12th dimensional energy. But I think through it all, and even you mentioned it in the beginning, or I guess it was Shekinah Ma, one of you mentioned it in the beginning, where all of these legions, if you will, of the Draco and their minions were coming together to surrender, to ask for forgiveness. And post gridwork mission, the response that I had, or the transmission that I had from my guides and from Yeshua, was that they had gone on this mission after we had done this gridwork mission to collect all of those beings and take them into the higher realms for processing. And so a lot of them have, in a way, laid down their weapons and surrendered. So, we did a lot of shifting. We did a lot of work in these areas to bring those energies forward and say, okay, it's time for you to give up, your weapons, your hold on this reality, if you will. So a lot of them have come to the forefront and released that control, if you will.
And I'd like to say
Not,
that it's our
go
activation.
ahead.
It's this specific activation of the spine, like opening up the records through the body rather than the external akash, like really reading the body of water, reading the records in your spine, and connecting and being embodied. That's like connecting us to the original spark of the Orion codes before the wars. So we're clearing the Orion wars through our spiritual embodiment, through the inner Holy Spirit activation, and like just full on truth frequency that we're anchoring and embedding into the body and the earth. And that original spark of Orion is returning. And it's that kind of is like a crystal spiral that spirals up through the 33 vertebra, that clears and neutralizes the Orion War's residual consciousness and encoding, which is why I believe the Draco are sort of, as soon as they make contact with a Christed individual, a body of Christ light, they automatically just sort of surrender and are in like humility to that force. And this also relates to the golden dome. I'm hearing and picking up on that many of us have become golden orbs of light, and that's the solar plexus initiation that we went through. We've activated the solar temple, the Ra center, the solar plexus center, the eye of Ra within our own body. And it's also turning on the solar king codes, which I love, because our next mission is about the divine masculine. So it's so magical, and just like it's just like I'm just in awe every moment of every day at like the synchronicities and alignments, and how we're not allowed to move forward at certain times, and there's always a revelation and a clear understanding of why that was down the road.
Yeah.
And it just feels like we're allowed to be in flow and trust. And I feel like that has so much to do with embodied spiritual life, and embodying that Holy Spirit fire. So
Absolutely. Yeah, we have all been experiencing that. It's like you get a hit, I get a hit. And it's like we all go on to our chat and we're like, we're all sharing what we're getting, and it's just so fascinating. But you're right in saying that, because Pangea came up during our gridwork mission, and so we started off our mission in Hawaii, which is like that stargate for those golden aurora energies, that pure what's the word, the original Earth Stargate, if you will, right? The inner Earth Stargate. That's it, the inner Earth Stargate, right? So that was Kauai, and now we are sort of bringing it full circle into that Syrian gateway and aligning those energies into that 0 point field. So it's all coming in full circle to that today's point, right? And again, it's aligning with that 7 year closure with the Sirius gateway, right?
Mm, mm.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, perfect. So yeah, that was my little snapshot of our event on the 1st of July. If you folks in the audience want to hear more about it, please email me. I'll put my email in the chat as well if you want to hear more about that mission. I can send you folks an abridged version of that gridwork mission.
I want to just to maybe for completion, for me at least, I feel I need to share that this July 4th feels like the, how do I say, it's both the beginning and the end, almost like a 0 point of like, we've been leading up to this well, we've been in an identity crisis as Turtle Island, right? Like Canada's in a huge identity crisis, and so has been the United States, and with like becoming the 51st state, or does Alberta separate, and all of this, like, it's all part of that solar plexus crisis that we as individuals all run up against at some point. It's like, who are we, and who are we now, and what are we identifying with or as? And I feel like I was in Alberta, actually, not Saskatchewan, at the time of our last call with the family stuff, and I was right in the heart in Alberta, there in that region, and like Saskatchewan, Alberta, the prairies, and just with everything that's been going on in the United States, and then Alberta, the potential, the very real possibility that Alberta might separate. Some of those codes came in with like the Calgary Flame, right, which is called the Red Sea, which connected me to this Red Sea mythology or biblical.
Oh yeah, the parting of the seas with Moses. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder if like it's like separate in order to reestablish new identity. Like there is sort of like a separation, but also is that separation leading to the unification codes, the eventual, it's sort of like this breaking down to restructure in more of a unity field is a possibility I see for Turtle Island. And I wanted to mention the identity crisis was there, and now I feel like there's an identity shift
Mm-hmm.
that's taking
Well,
place.
and a lot of that parting of the Red Sea was the Exodus. So as you're saying that, I'm just getting that whole Exodus movement of the people. It's like the people are getting free. We have been under enslavement codes. And part of this whole, I'm not saying I'm a 100% Q fan or white hat person. Like, I just kind of watch it all and I see it all. And I like to see these sort of, well, in everything, there's signs and symbols. Everything's our omens, that everything's talking at us. And if you could see our scroll of our chat, it's hilarious. And it's like literally like the Torah. Like we have like such a powerful chat group. And like the we just bing bong, it's like back and forth, call and respond, and we echo each other, and everybody's like so hitting the same codes and frequencies all the time. And so it's affirmation, confirmation, affirmation, confirmations. And then I see that right now, I mean, whatever Trump is up to, whatever this so-called trust the plan, like you keep hearing about, this is the calm before the storm, and now we're in the storm, and you're like, well, what is this storm? And what are we talking about here? And, I mean, God only really knows what's really actually going on in our politics and in our governments and in our leaders. However, there's just so many nuggets of gold in some of the content we've been sharing with each other in regards to this, again, restoration of the republic away from the fallen republic. And I go back into source codes where America was founded. And yes, the genocide, we need to clear that, all the genocide codes, all that, taking all of that Native America or even the First Nations of Canada, like that whole colonization stain is obviously a huge clearing that needs to happen over all of the genocide, just on all the planetary. However, if what is being said is true, then we are under this exodus from that Pharaoh, from that false light matrix of that whole, I am the king of the castle and you're all my, dirty rascals, you're all my slaves. And so that is, I feel deeply in my heart as, we're moving from the lower triangle of the lower chakras, and we'll have to do an official third chakra for our shamankas. But as we move to the heart, as we come into now, like we're moving up to the higher triangle of the Merkabic body. So we're moving now into that place where, like, the intention of America was based off of Atlantis, okay? And the mystery schools that I study, that were like deep, deep, deep mystery schools. You got the Madame Blavatsky, the Rudolf Steiner, the Alice Bailey, all these characters, the Frank Vaughn and the writing of the Wizard of Oz. And you got Follow the Yellow Brick Road, where I was like at the doorstep of the brother who wrote that book, right? At Coronado Island, the seat of this mystery school. And so you have the wizard behind the curtain, and that is what we are apparently coming into today. That curtain's going to be drawn, that veil is going to be lifted, and we're going to see, like, the truth is coming out. And so the restoration of the republic is really the restoration of Atlantis and going back into where we fell from grace. And now where Ouroboros is, the snake eats its tail. And so that is a full circle. And so that's where we come back, time returns. So all the timelines are all meeting up. And like today is the day as we're under this Syrian connection. And then we got the Uranus conjunct, the sun. And then we got the Neptune is going into retrograde. So we're like just getting this massive time returns frequency under the Sirian portal of the ancient mystery schools. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, I tried to write a book because it's so fascinating, and still God has nailed it on the most magical creation story ever, which is just clearing the cosmology and the origins. And I'm reading a book called Origin, and everything is just like, again, it's like bing, bing, bing. You're like, wow, how does this even happen? This is truly magic, guys.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get it. We are in the most beautiful times ever, right? And I get this from impressions from my guides, from the interdimensional beings that I work with as well. It's like they are all watching us, at this time. It's like everybody's fighting to be in this arena, to be here, to
Right.
witness what is taking place in our earth plane at this time. So
And it's a
just going back,
galactic family reunion.
it
Like it's a
is
family
because
reunion.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they've all had skin in the game, so to speak. It's like
Mm.
Isis was there, Hathor was there, Mary Magdalene was there, Yeshua was there. They were all involved in this earth drama, right? Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, all of these beings were within that mix, if you will, centuries and centuries ago, but they are now back to align, to correct all of the things that went wrong during those times. And that's why we keep going back to that 0 point field, that 0 point energy field, to correct, to align, to correct, to align. And this is like that perfect energy because we are directly aligned to that galactic center. Every time we have come together, it's been on that new moon or full moon or this galactic energy alignment. And it's been so poignant how we've been able to pinpoint those dates and work within those energies. And it's all just been, accurately aligned with what we've been individually working on, right? So just briefly coming back to what you said, Shekinah Ma, in terms of what the White Hats and Trump is sort of working on, to me, I feel like they are the bridge between the old world and the new, right? There's stuff that he has to do as the most powerful leader, I would say, of our times, right? Because that's what he's showing up as right now. And he's being supported by those higher energies as well. And I know that from my perspective, Mary Magdalene, when this whole, when he was being voted in as the president, she came in very powerfully and said, yes, he's the one that can pull this off and can bring that stability back into your field of existence, right? And so, not supporting the, let's say, the devolution of what the man represents, right? I mean, I know there's a lot of character flaws, but what he's trying to achieve is what we need to look at, We have to look at what he's trying to achieve, and that is for me the bridge between the old and the new. And so if you look at the Draco on one side, and if you look at those ascended masters and that ascension on the other side, Trump is right in the middle. He's bridging that gap between the old world and the new. And so we are in that transition period right now. That's why my book is called Progressing from the Third to the Fifth Dimension. Progressing to the fifth dimension. That is where we need to be in that fifth dimensional aspect, in that higher vibrational, higher frequency. That's where we need to be vibrating, because right now the Draco have like pulled us down into that third to lower fourth vibrational fields. We've been existing within that a band of vibration, if you will, right? And
The
so
black
that,
cube.
yeah, so that is their ideal vibrational field. So in order for us to get out of that cycle, we need somebody like Trump to come in and turn the tables like Yeshua did, but not in that high vibration, but in the vibration that he is currently. Turn the tables on all of the structures that the Draco have built and bring us onto that bridge, if you will, and then take us across into that high vibrational energy. Because just from the three of us coming together, even we are landing that energy in the field, and there are so many others, grid workers like Indy and others, like working the field, anchoring that higher energy in the field, right? And so as us star seeds and as us light workers bring in more and more and anchor more and more of that higher energy, it's like we are beaming that across into the collective. And so just by us being in our present vibration, the others get to see how we are vibrating, and they come into that higher frequency, if you will. And so by Trump taking on these other more dense energies, if you will, like money, the financial system, the gold, all of the politicians, and all of the darkness that him and Elon Musk have been trying to, detangle, if you will. But they've been facing resistance because, the general public has become so used to living in that band of frequency that I was just talking about, right? Because that in a way has become our home, right? And we don't know anything beyond that band of frequency. And so we feel comfortable living in that energy field. So we need to stand back and say, okay, let's look at what's really happening here and tune into those higher frequency energies. And once we bridge that, once we get onto that higher level, we then see, there's that opening of the eyes of seeing, really, truly seeing what's been happening in our world over the last millennia, right? So that's how I see Trump anyway, and what he's trying to do. And there is a lot of resistance, and there is still that whole political agenda, if you will, that's still calling the shots. Because if you look at what happened last week, P. Diddy has gotten away with all of the atrocities that he has done to children, right? And ironically, we were working on the children. So that just tells you how deeply this energy is ingrained in the in the
There's something
political
about
system.
having to, sorry to interject, but there's something about having to witness. So I'm picking up on, like, this is a game of chess for sure.
Yeah,
And I was just at the pageant of the Masters, and they had a whole art piece on the game of chess, which is created in India. And the whole thing, I mean, like the download from that was so brilliant. So you begin to understand how it all works and how it all plays, and then the checkmate and this whole process of the king and the whole thing. So if this is a chessboard game and you can never tell the actual plan, because if you were to reveal your plan, then that person would know your next move. You just don't do that. Also,
absolutely.
there's like a game of charades where it's like a masquerade because you gotta play the game. So you gotta dress up. You gotta play that part. You gotta hang out with those devils because you gotta know your enemies. And the best way to infiltrate all the evil is to become in that evil so that you can bring the light like Jesus did into hell. He went into hell and brought the light. So there's something that people have to see. They have to zoom out and see a bigger picture. You cannot just look at what's going on from a 3D spectrum, which is like what you're saying. You gotta have like a spectral, like wizard view to where you can see all the cards because it's not just this like 3 card spectrum. It's like a whole deck of card spectrum that's
Yeah,
being played out right now.
yeah.
And so I personally feel like there's like this game, like him and Elon Musk fighting. That was so staged, right?
Yeah.
And then this
Yeah,
whole thing with Peter Thiel and the beast system, like I feel like he's gone in and he's like making alliances, with the devils so that he can then expose the devils and expose the corrupt judicial system. Like, hello, there's no way in hell P. Diddy should be walking free.
yeah,
But he is, and we're seeing this because I believe it's theater, and it's not like he's actually going to be free. I
yeah.
really don't believe it. I think he's
Well,
going to
it's
be
yeah, you're
targeted for the
right.
rest of his life.
You're right. It's the judicial system and all of that, you know, the laws of the land, if you will, that need to be exposed. And
Yeah.
you're right with the whole Elon Musk thing as well. To me, that's just yeah, it was total theater. I don't see them as being enemies, but there are things in perhaps Elon's past as well that needs to be, a light shone on that. Like he's had that implication with the darkness as well, from his mother's side. So
Yeah.
there's that whole thing that's questionable as well. So who
But
knows
as we
how
were
that's going
like
to play out?
as we were redeeming or like doing that work with the Dracos to bring in that place where they're redeemed, right? Because that
Yeah,
is what's going on.
yeah,
We see it translate as above, down below. As we see, like the healthcare system just got wiped. Like there's so many doctors and so many people that just got like completely handed over. And then all the traffickers, all the children traffickers, while we've been doing this, we've been seeing in real time news
yeah,
like huge arrests, huge children being saved and taken out. So, like rescued, right? So it's like there's this whole thing. It's like a dance. It's like in Sanskrit, they call it Lila. It's a cosmic dance, right? And then you got like the churning of the sea of milk with the angels and the demons, and they're like playing the tug of war, and it's like creating this ghee, it's creating this purified butter, and like that's our world right now. So it's like you can't look at it from like Shekinah Grace was saying, like this mental, like you're not gonna get it. You're just not gonna get it.
yeah,
You have to go into a realm where like Elon, A is autistic, and then B, we also know that he's self-disclosed. He's a freaking alien. He's like into like I'm a star seed. I'm an actual alien. So, you're like, what are we even? This is not 3D. Like, I mean, Donald Trump's uncle John Trump went in and got all of Nikola Tesla's papers. People don't necessarily know that. So they've had all of the papers of Tesla, which is what this golden dome is. And it's also led them into the abilities of time travel. And
yeah.
so
The
that's the
looking glass
Project Looking
technology.
Glass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
people can't see this stuff from like, oh, it's ABC, CNN. Like, that is such a gong show bullshit. So you have to look at it like from, you have to dive deep and people don't do it. So we got us coming out here doing it for you all, saying, you guys, there's something much bigger going on, okay? Just gotta put your seatbelt
Absolutely.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all of that. Absolutely resonates with me.
It's pretty
Shekinah
exciting.
Grace? Yeah, Shekinah Grace?
Yeah, lots of just frick. That's what I mean. Like it's like I just received all of that somatically through waves and waves of resonance and waterfalls of grace and information and wisdom. And that's what I think I'm here to continue to remind us of that. Like we're listening with our whole being now. We have to listen with our whole being. And that's the only way we'll be able to navigate successfully without obstruction, interference, and obstacle on our mission is through the embodiment. And so what comes to mind coming back to the solar plexus is like this raw center activation is what allows us to walk not in an ego struggle, not in like over identification with anything, as you both have mentioned. Like we're more in a state of witness. That's the eye of Ra, is like the witness, the ability to witness and not get pulled. And it's also where you can stand in your center and your power. And what I see is just like this hall of mirrors and hall of records and hall of timelines. And it's like that time traveling, time shifting reality, if your raw center is activated, is very real. And it can be discombobulating. You can feel like you're in a sea, like you're literally like and if you're not grounded, it could be you could lose yourself. But if you're anchored in your body, you're anchored to Holy Spirit, you've been on this path for a long time, you're able to witness all of the symbols, see multiple timelines at the same time, bilocate your consciousness to be able to be fully present where you are and simultaneously in another space and place in time, and retrieve information and integrate communications from different points even in your own timeline, from your childhood, from your youth, from your future self. And I've been getting this wild notion that our inner children are from the future, and they left us code and information that would serve us for this time now, and that it's actually children saving children. So when we do the inner child work to heal our inner children, it's actually our children's innocence, purity, and heart, and ability to like be so plugged into source consciousness and to the unconditional divine love frequency that's actually saving the children. And so children saving children is something that I'm getting. The inner child work is momentous in clearing what we want to see collapse from what's happening to children on the earth plane. So it's so an as within, so without experience, which we've always spoken to. And I feel like we do quite well as a trinity of shamankas and divine feminine embodiments. And I know many people are doing this as well, but I wanted to speak to that. When we were in Alberta too, we worked with the Black Heart and reviving the Black Heart to like this like neon pink heart of passion, and that makes me think of like the passion for Christ consciousness, the ignited inner flame consciousness. And I've just seen that Black Heart really like, it wasn't fully pink yet, but it's like over even just the last 4 days, like it's just getting brighter and brighter. And I'm seeing the neon codes coming in. And I looked up the etymology for the word neon, and it means new. And so I wanted to share that. I also,
That's like Neo. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
then eyes adjusting. So if people are experiencing like moments of like really clear vision and then blurry vision, that is related to the solar plexus. So we're adjusting our perception. And then the eagle reclaims its nest. And so the eagle's nest could be Nazi code, which is an inversion of the use of the sacred eagle. And so the eagle reclaims its nest. Trump is the last false king. So that goes to what you were talking about, Raquel, about he's like the last one in that lower density, but he's the bridge, the world bridger. And so Trump is the last false king, and eagle trumps snake, meaning the negative snake oil, false, the sneaky, snaky kind of energy. Eagle trumps snake.
Eagle
And
is also the US emblem, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And finally, Trump as an archetype, I believe he has a lot of, I think there's Gemini codes in him, I know from what I've listened to and learned about him, Gemini and Leo. And so Leo is also king, king, codes of Christ, codes of heart. And Gemini is where Uranus is moving into for the next 7-year cycle. And so he really truly is this archetypal energy, like in that sense, despite people might not like me saying this, but in that sense, as an archetype, he's egoless. He's playing his divine role. Like he's being the ego. Like he's being what he's supposed to be being. If that makes
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
so that's how I see his character. And I also had a dream of him being connected to the Syrian White Lions. He was on ship with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. His wife Milena was there, but he had a lion head. She was more humanoid.
She's
And
like a Nordic, if you know the Nordic race.
She's
yeah,
oh, I
Yeah.
I get feline energy from her. You could be right though. Like
well, she
Lyran
didn't have it
Lyran
in her.
feline energy from her.
Yeah, she just didn't present as
But the son, their kid, is also very
Baron.
key to this. Yeah, he's also very key to this whole looking glass technology because that's something that I think that's come through from
There's
many
like a book
mediums as
that
well.
talks
Yeah,
about Baron Trump.
yeah,
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 his
that's like from the
frequencies.
1800s.
Yeah,
yeah,
his frequencies are off the charts.
yeah.
Like he
Well,
has.
he's like 7 feet tall. He's like a freaking giant.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I just want to tune in with the chat. So we've got Kara Annette says, thank you, ladies from Alberta. Wow, thank you for speaking to this. So they're agreeing with us. Saving children, saving children. Oh, I love that.
Mm.
And then quote note says, resonate with the eye adjustments. Again, Kara Annette says, I teach classes for children in Alberta. Thank you for this beautiful wisdom. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm so glad to have all of you here today interacting with us in the chat. So thank you for being here.
I just
Just
wanted to
going
bring up
back,
just one
go ahead.
thing is that with that, what Shekinah Grace was talking about in regards to the children saving children, I lived in Roberts Creek in the Sunshine Coast, and they were filming this movie called The Last Mimsy. And if you've ever seen The Last Mimsy, you will know what I speak to because I used to go there and I'd find eagle feathers there all the time. And they had like eagle nests right at that house. So that kind of rings in with what Shekinah Grace was saying. And then the connection too is they have this Mimsy, it's a rabbit from what is this? Alice. I think it's from the Alice in Wonderland. Like no, whatever it is,
There
the
was a
rabbit.
movie. Sorry, are you talking about the movie, The Last Mimsy? There is a
Yes.
movie called The Last Mimsy.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's
Okay.
filmed. I like was there and watched this whole thing go down. They open like a portal in the movie. It's very cool. And it's about like from the future coming back, time travel, to save humanity and to save life on Earth. And it's through this rabbit, right? And then there's the whole looking glass. So it's in the movie. And then one last piece was that the art, which is all this sacred geometry and mandalas, literally right up the street is the man, Paul Husenstam. I went to school with his sons. He was the artist of all the mandalas. I've been to his house. I used to go to meditations there. So it's all connected in some like crazy, like, how do you even make that connected dot game happen? Because that's some crazy connections.
Yeah.
So that movie totally, I think, is what Shekinah Grace was speaking to in that. And it's real and it exists and it's like confirmation there yet again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The dragons too have been with us through all of this. You know, we've had the dragon and egg synergy. The last mission, we had the dragons rejoicing on those highest timelines. You know, the Chi, the highest timeline with the children riding on the dragons. So, you know, they've
Dragon
been
Rider.
with us. Yeah, they've been with us
It's
through.
like a movie where the children
Yeah, yeah,
ride
yeah,
their
yeah.
dragon.
Oh, Marissa's with us. Thank you, Marissa. She says, hello, ladies. Wonderful conversation. Love your energies. Yay. Marissa was with us in our
We love
last
you.
mission. So love you so much. Kara says, we do mandala art in my classes. Yes, absolutely. That's very
Awesome.
powerful. Yeah, Shekinah Ma, you've been in LA for a reason. There's no arguing that, you know, even though it took you
Yeah.
there for a very personal reason and perhaps a
Well, we
very
literally
unsettling, but we got
we
through
did
all
our
of it.
divine feminine with the heart, and my mother literally was the woman that had her heart stopped, and then it's so symbolic. Like
Yeah,
that's when you know you're living in truth, and when you're aligned to this creator, and it's like you can't make it up. You just like again, you're
no.
just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this is real. Pinch me. Am I dreaming? I can't believe this.
Yeah, yeah. And the day your mom went into surgery was the day we had our Divine Mother workshop,
Yeah.
our grid work.
She went in at 5:55. Our thing started at 5:55 p.m. So from
Yeah,
AM to PM. I mean, like it's
which is 12 hours, which is 12D shield consciousness
wow, nice
dimension.
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even that
Yeah.
mission, like we did some powerful, powerful work on that day too, right? We had all of these Divine Mother energies just coming in and embracing us so powerfully. So yeah, it was awesome.
Mm, yep.
Well, ladies, now we look forward to our next mission, which is awakening the divine masculine. We've got our challenge set out for us. So calling in all those divine masculine energies who have been asleep, who have been pulled under, who have been blinded, who have been how should I say this? Tricked. They have been tricked into believing all kinds of things. You know, they have succumbed to the women that have you know brought them into these realms, shall we say, of sexual inversion, of sexual perversion, of money magic, all these kinds of things. You know, so we have to deeply dive into all of this and bring correction, if you will, to all of that. And so calling on the divine masculine to awaken, to align their hearts to what is being called for them to, you know, to come forward and to powerfully course correct from not only from their own individual aspects, but for the collective as well. Because without the connection with the divine masculine and the alignment with the divine masculine, it will not be a full and complete alignment. So we need that perfect balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies in order for us to move forward. So this is our intention for the 10th of July as we align to the buck moon.
Mm.
And so if you go on my website, which I'm going to bring up now, I've published that on the website as well. So hopefully you folks can tune in and sign up for that. And thank you to all of the folks that have already signed up. I really appreciate you. Um, keep going, folks, while I just get this going here.
I was just picking up on like the Mother Earth. Okay. So when I used to go to Shekinah Grace was mentioning before about on our chat, like Chaco Canyon. And by the way, like Trump's actual stronghold is no longer at the White House. It's at Cheyenne, which is connected to this native, if you know, like the native mythologies, it's some deep, powerful stuff. But in this like area with the Kivas and also they like had cliff dwellings. So the people of like the Dene or Navajo, they would like make these and also Ute, like many different native groups from that Four Corners area, which is like very, very, very sacred land. They would have, they live in the cliff dwelling. And so you would live in a circle and it was like Mother Earth, right? And then Father Sky. And so there's something energetically connecting us as we do this divine masculine clearing, as we've just done the divine feminine, and that's connecting into Earth Ma. But then there's Sky Father. And then I'm just seeing like Space Force, and I'm seeing this whole connection to the Star Nation beings, which we've more or less been kind of quarantined in the prison planet from. But like there's like this reconnecting to our star brothers and sisters and to the Sky Father itself in the heavens, in the vastness of space. So as I'm just picking up as we're doing this divine masculine, it's not only clearing, of course, our husbands, our brothers, our fathers, our uncles, our men, our warriors, our providers, our seed bearers, but it's also going to clear this separation from the Sky Father and from the wisdom of our Star Nation beloveds. So there's something actually just like a wzoop, like I just got like the erect phallus, like pour, like that just like wzoop, like Shiva Lingam energy is just like boom, and like it's just going right up into space.
Are you seeing that heart center being healed as well? Is that part of it?
I mean, what feels like happened, to be honest, is back when the sexes divided, right?
Hmm.
And so we had one androgynous, like the light aether beings that we had fallen from grace, from being these divine beings, right? So then the separation kind of took us out of that whole or holiness. And then we became the cracked egg with the twin souls got, separated.
Yeah.
So there's this whole energy of us actually reconnecting back into wholeness, but also just this, as above, so below connection of, and so it all meets in the heart. Yes, because it all meets in the heart. But like in the cross, like in the crucifix, the cross. So you have the horizontal, you have the horizontal line, and then you have the vertical line, right?
Yeah.
And that's the medicine wheel as well, right? So you have the horizontal plane and then you got the vertical plane, right? And so that makes the cross, and then the cross is used for crossover.
Hmm.
And then there's this whole relation with the cross, which on the side is the X. And then you got the X stenography, which I also study, and that's X Files, Space Force X. You got X Elon Musk X, his son's name's X. So
Yeah.
there's this whole X stenography, which is the tilted. And so that's actually when you use the cross in time travel, it becomes the X. There's this whole connection. So basically, I'm just seeing as we're going to work then on the Father and on the divine masculine, it's connecting us to the Father and to sort of Sky Father, which will take us back up where we belong, like a rocket, It's very phallic. So it's like shooting us up like an arrow, again, phallic, all of it, sword, phallic. So there's like all sorts of stuff coming in. So I'll just shut up because I'm just like gonna start just blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot here, guys. There's a lot here that's going to be reconnecting,
Yeah.
putting it back together.
Yeah. And I'm tuning into a program, a virus, a program, a false program around Capricorn energies. Saturn was assigned to Capricorn, but Capricorn I feel is grandmother Earth. And so what's coming in for me is, like you mentioned, that the Earth and then the Sky Father, that connection and that dome. That Capricorn is really grandmother Earth, and the reason they assigned Saturn to Capricorn. Now, people probably won't agree with this, or they'll think I'm crazy, or I'm just like grasping at things. But Saturn is like a frequency fence. I mean, it's been used nefariously. It's been hijacked, I would say. I'm sure it had an original purity, and we can tap into that at any time we want to. But I think in terms of, we're talking on that 3D level, the negative alien invasion, the false matrix, I feel like the assignment of Saturn to Capricorn was to cap or frequency fence off grandmother Earth wisdom and father sky connection, which is Uranus, which Uranus is the counterpart to Sophia, Gaia, Mother Earth. So they're like a divine union couple, Mother Earth and Father Sky. So
Yeah.
that's what I feel like we're working with. And Uranus is also shifting into preparing for its next 7-year transit into Gemini, which is conjunct Sedna. So everyone needs to tune into the Sedna myth and betrayal codes of the false king, or the father betraying the daughter, the father betraying the children, due to the program, due to the false patriarchy, due to the mind control and the infiltration and the control and top down and colonization and, you know, forced marriages and forced breeding, and all of these things come from that being plugged into a false ego identity matrix. So I feel like the reclamation of the grandmother earth energies, the rebuking of the false Saturn cap or frequency net, and the divine reconnection to Holy Father consciousness is what we're anchoring on this mission. And the divine reunion, the heterogamous like reunion of Uranus and Earth as a sacred marriage coupleship. So we're looking at clearing betrayal codes, and as well as reconciling all of those who chose not to trust their inner authority, and in 2020 vision, in 2020, to trust the outer authority, to trust the governments, to trust the institutions that are collapsing now. There's a reconciliation and a forgiveness process and a dissolution of that choice for people who are truly, sincerely in a state of not regret, but awakening and understanding now that they were fooled or they were tricked. So there's reconciliation and resurrection available at this full moon for that choice to be neutralized. So we're looking at that authority. It's like the recognition that the authority is within. So those who didn't understand the authority, the authority of God invested in them, this is the culmination or the illumination of that previous choice that then later understood that that was not in alignment and that they have the power. And so that's also going to catalyze and shift more of the collective into that like 100th monkey effect, you know, for the golden grids to really get anchored, even more so than they already are. So that's sort of, and so this is because Saturn's related to karma. So we're also witnessing a karmic moment, you know, where people are experiencing the repercussions of previous choices made that were based in fear and not in faith and trust in who they are as sovereigns and as sons and daughters of God.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I see that as well. It's just that wounding of the God energy, if you will, that needs to come through and get healed. And so we've got the King Arthur energies, Yeshua's energies coming in to protect us and guide us through this mission, as they have anchored in the field previously on our missions, and that came through very powerfully as it connected to this buck moon coming up on July the 10th. So yeah, we welcome, anybody is welcome, men, women, children, all are welcome to this mission, because you are all important, you are all beautiful, you are all powerful. So anyone wanting to share their energies in terms of song, in terms of music, in terms of prayer, just include that as a message in when you sign up, and I will send you a Zoom link for the event. So I look forward to seeing all of you there for this event. There's a description of what we foresaw when we planned the event. But of course, as you folks know, and just based off of what is just coming in now live with this transmission, we'll add in all of that information. And on the day off, things will again shift and move. So, it'll just be a moving target, if you will, as we move through this gridwork mission. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the 10th of July. It will be at 5:55 p.m., which has become our auspicious time. So we look forward to seeing you then.
I just want to say
Um,
555 is 15, right? And
yes.
15 in numerology and also in the tarot is the devil. And the devil in like the mystery schools ruled in Saturn, Satan. And then there's this connection I'm just seeing where we add, because it doesn't stand, the 1 and the 5 makes the 6. That is the Christed number, the 6, the 3 and the 3. And so you've got this whole, I'm just seeing that we are clearing that satanic timeline by converting the 1 and the 5 into the 6 through our 555. And
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
Capricorn, so I know this deeply because I'm a Capricorn and I prefer to say sea goat. And I know for a fact that the Prince of Darkness, aka the devil's been on me. I also grew up in a 465, which is a 15. So I know the 15 well, I know the devil well, and I know how to convert the devil into the 6 through the Christ.
Mm.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so look forward to seeing you folks there for that mission, as we powerfully anchor these energies and heal that much needed masculine energy within our collective.
I just want to say, like, this is if you want to set yourself up for victory and success in 2026, this is the grid mission to join. This is laying the foundation for a solar transfiguration, solar masculine year of consciousness and action. So the rest of 2025, we're laying the foundations as we've reclaimed the daughters of Christ frequency, right? And divine reconnection to the Holy Mother Earth. So this is a very pivotal moon and mission. I'm just getting that now to anchor in the energies that we want to experience and align to in 2026.
Well, that makes sense because 2026 makes the 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune. Again, it doesn't stand because it's not a power number, so it converts to 1, which is the Magi. So it's going to be a powerful year, that 2026.
Yeah.
Well, that's also a good segue into our trip to France. Yay! So, Marissa, keep an eye out for us. We are coming your way. Yeah, so we're just going to plant the seeds, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever's tuning into this. So yeah, help us out if you can in any way because, the three of us are not wealthy at all. So, we are trying to get the funds together to make this trip happen so that we could have a gridwork mission following the path of the Cathars and Mary Magdalene and, that holy path, the beauty way of Sophia as we trek through France. So this is our mission. This is our idea, if you will, for the next year and what's to come. So the three of us on mission in France, that's what we are seeing right now. So we're going to keep that light burning as we move forward. So we hope that you will support us in any way possible as we make these plans for the future. Marissa says, yay, well said, ladies. So was there anything left, Shekinah Grace, Shekinah Ma, that I haven't touched on that you wish to say in conclusion to this conversation?
I definitely, we're still always going to talk at the same time. You go, girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to share that, and one way for us to continue to raise funds for missions and boots on the ground experiences is connect with any of us for our services. We're all healers. We're all oracles in our own right. We all have specializations, and I'm sure you can just feel us and the frequency and the offering that we have through our heart resonance. So beyond listing all the things that I do, I would just encourage everyone to connect with us for anything, for healing, for guidance if it's needed, or refer us out to friends and family who you feel might benefit. For me, I work a lot with the body, a lot with realigning to the divine and perfect health codes, the original health codes of the physical body as a map and alignment to like the body of Christ frequency to your angelic human template. And so, yeah, I have all kinds of, offerings within that one statement. So if it aligns with you to really take the journey to understand, like, what does your thyroid have to do with spirituality, then you can connect with me.
I've got your connections and your contacts in the description, so please reach out, folks, to both these beautiful sisters. Go ahead, Shekinah Ma. Do you want to talk about your services?
Well, not really, but what I wanted to say was just faith over fear. So today, as I woke up and did my meditation with all that's happening on this 4th of July day, I do know there's going to be a reset. I do know they're going to have to pull the plug and they're going to have no power. So, number one, really important to just get your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s sorted. And also just to be able to have, like your water, your food, your medicines, what have you, but also just to like my daughter's phone went down into the bottom of the lake. And so she had 3 days with no phone. And she said what a miracle it was for her. Like she's 19 and all these youth have, it's so just be aware that like in the reset of the beast system where they have to shut down the grid. And we've seen that in Vegas with all the power poles down. And there's like just thousands and thousands of people with no power right now in Vegas. So I'm just saying, like, tuning into the ability to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and also just faith over fear. Okay, just really accessing, trust the plan, whatever that is. It's not Trump's plan, it's God the Father and Mama up in our Divine Mama and Mama Earth. It's all for liberation. So just please, like, be prepared psychologically, spiritually, and physically.
Thank you
Yeah.
for saying that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely agree with the two of you. And so, yes, for myself, I'm so pleased to have my website back up and running. So, yes, you can go check out my services. I offer one-on-one sessions, healing sessions from myself. I also tune in with the higher dimensional beings like Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Hathor, Isis. I've also got the 7-day meditation series, which is up on my website as well as an offering, which is a beautiful, beautiful initiation into the mother energies. So the divine mother energies, if you wish to tune into that energy, what we have all been experiencing on some level has been out of that meditation series. So I would highly recommend you take that course. It's just a beautiful initiation. Plus, it also introduces you to a daily practice. So I go through, just the way in which you can develop a practice. Setting up your meditation space, setting up that sacred space, how to get into the meditation posture, how to breathe, how to meditate. So there's all of that in that 7-week. Sorry, I keep saying 7-week, but it's your own pace. So you can do it 7 days or 7 weeks, however you choose. But yeah, so we'll end on that happy note. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I feel so energized from our conversation and all the work that we have been doing. So again, to everybody out there, enjoy this Independence Day, this beautiful 4th of July energy with your fireworks and however else you're enjoying it. Namaste, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Bye.
Mm.